Hey YouTube, I don't know if you could hear me because I understand this part of the video did not get edited out. But if you can hear me, I'm suddenly over these noises of cars revving up in the background, which by the way is a good thing here, especially this time of year in January. So this is just so yeah, these are some pictures from the Firecracker 100, but races of this year were pretty much good in a couple of ways. I mean, I've had a great racing season. I mean, there was some downers, of course, but I did get to go to, let's see, 5 races this year. So that, in one way, that was good. First race of the year I went to, you're seeing the sprint cars being pushed off for hot laps here now. This was the Arctic Cat All-Star Circuit of Champions race at Lernerville, and it was a good race, I tell you what. But this was the first race I went to, and we had the 93 Hot and Shield and ended up winning the feature. But it was a really good sportsman and rush modified race as well. And sorry you see me shake around this camera, but this is not, I never did upload this footage here. But it was a good race. Joe Kelly won in the sportsman stocks, and I think Brian Schaefer won in the mods, if I'm wrong. But still a good race nonetheless. And on that, this is the more pictures of recently. After this, I went to the Firecracker 100. This is the Steel City Stampede Rush late model race, but I figured I'd prove it in here and well, just to have a more interesting backdrop, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so the Firecracker 100 was good. It's good to have big names in your local track, and I had fun there too. I still have to do diecast reviews from Lernerville, but anyway, the Firecracker 100 and overall was a good race. I didn't get to film the whole thing, but I filmed the majority of it. And it was, heat races went out pretty good, and nothing really happened. There were a few spin outs and upsets, but in the heats. But I mean, the feature was just a really good mix action battle, if you know what I mean. But the feature event, that was a good event with Scott Bloomquist eventually taking the win. But before that was Tim McCready and Dale McDowell, and Rick Eckert just had an incredible battle for the win. Like I said, with eventually Scott Bloomquist came home and win. So great race there, the Firecracker. After to the Jennerstown Speedway, Jennerstown. You've seen the Jennerstown video, which is good because I haven't thought I would go to Jennerstown, but this year, but I ended up getting to go, especially because with Motordrome closing, as you see in my Ode to Motordrome video. So Jennerstown actually put on some exciting racing. In the 4 cylinders. I think it was Steve Settle, the 4-cylinder main event at Jennerstown, and I didn't film the Chargers because there was only like 6 Chargers there, but Steven Sheltman did win that. I'm apologizing, I'm just trying to save video space here. But Steven Sheltman did win the Charger event, and yeah. And of course, with Andrew Kostelnik and Adam Kostelnik coming 1-2 in the finish after a wild street stock race in the Riggs Industry Street Stocks. And then it was on to the late models with this was probably one of the best races of 2016 in my opinion that I was at. It was a basically entire race with the number 7 Jeremiah Kuntz and the number 95 Gary Wiltrout. You've seen, ended up getting his 100th career victory that night as he edged by Kuntz at the line in a very close finish. But Barry Audi and the 83 of Matt Sever were also looming right behind, and I have that video up on YouTube too to check out. But anyway, the last race, well, not the last race, when we see a wreck happen here, but then I went to Heston Speedway. I didn't get Heston either, but I got to go to Heston this year for the Race Saver Sprint and Street Stock Mania night, I think it was called. But They had a great turnout of sprints and street stocks and limited late models for that matter. So it was a good night, a good heat race action. I think Ryan Sager came home in the street stocks, a wild race, or sportsman stocks, same thing. Darren Miller, no, not the Thriller, but a different Darren Miller, won the Race Saver sprint race. Mike Duck took home the hobby stock feature. And the 44 Ralph Morgan Jr. won the limited late model race, and I think the 11 car, whoever that was, I forget it was, won the 4-cylinder. But that was Heston. It was good to go back there. Heston Speedway has a sentimental value to me because it's the first track I ever watched a race at, dirt race, pavement race, whatever, and I always did like the racing there. They put on good racing. It does get dusty times. Surprisingly, the time we went this year, it wasn't dusty, but of course Lernerville was for the firecracker, due to they had the fact they had to run it in during the day, and the 01 spins it out there. But yeah, that was good. And then I came to this race, which it meant now, which is the final race of 2016. The Seville City Stampede. You're seeing highlights from the Rush Late Model feature. Yeah, so too many winners to count. Great racing all night long. A lot of wrecks. Pretty much all I gotta say. I know. Geez, who won the? Oh yeah, Mike Norris won the late models. Who won the sprints? I'm trying to think. Oh, AJ Flick. How can I forget AJ Flick? But AJ Flick won the sprint car feature. I think it was. I want to see. Oh yeah, this Matt Williamson Big Block Modified Sportsman Stocks. Yeah, it was definitely Corey McPherson. 4 cylinders. Eric Boozle, a dominant car out of McVeigh just kicked ass that night. The Enduro, I didn't put the Enduro on YouTube too long, and I didn't have enough space on my camera left. So, yeah, I can't row this feature. I'm going to see who goes on this, but this is a Rush Late Model feature. I didn't get the E-Mod, wish I should, because there was a flip or two in that. But I can't even remember who won all these races. But it was a great night of racing all night long. We'll just say that. And it's a great way to cap off 2016. And you see that is the 60 car of Jammin' Johnny Maulick out front. And he will eventually take home the win of this in the Rush Late Model race. Rush Crate Sportsman also had a race that night. I forget who won. But this is the championship race if you're not following it. So, good racing this year. Great way to cap off. Hoping to get to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway next year. Just because I kind of want to. And I haven't been there in a while. I mean, since I was a kid. So, probably because it has to do with Pittsburgh. And I have to go through Pittsburgh to get there. Once Lernerville here, I don't. But it'll be interesting to see how next season plays out. Now, great racing all season long. What can the tracks do? Well, Lernerville is going to stay open regardless, even though they had the fires I mentioned earlier in the video. But you know, it's pretty much just it's good. Jennerstown can stay open as long as they keep themselves active and fans in the door with the car count high. Heston, I don't know about it. I mean, they got some good races in there, but the car count needs to be steady all year round. I would say for them to stay reopened. I give them another 4 years to improve things. If not, they'll be in bad shape. Yeah, so those are 3 tracks. With Motordrome, if you realize Motordrome closed, so Motordrome is out of the question for this year. And second part of this video is what killed Motordrome. Well, Motordrome was killed by piss poor management, and the current owner just doesn't give a damn about it. So it closed because of the manager who bought it tried to resurrect the place from what it was coming to be, because you honestly didn't know you're going to have an asphalt track or to race at or not. But yeah, so that's a going sliding off the backstretch there. But so he tried to resurrect it. He actually put a lot of money into the facility, but eventually lost his money when he tried to bring in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series, and that unfortunately went awry for him because the track needed paved. The track was in bad shape. That was before I got the YouTube channel where I put the qualifier night on that on video. But the track was in bad shape. They brought NASCAR K&N, Dalton Sargent, William Byron, all those guys. Rico Abreu raced there in their final season. I think Motordrome, that was kind of going out with a bang for Motordrome, but it kind of embarrassed Motordrome. And then they were out of money, and Todd Melfi, who was the owner of Motordrome's lease, ran up the next year. So, with that, and being said with that, it basically killed Motordrome, and well, I think it will be survived. Honestly, I'd love to see it go again because I've loved Motordrome. It's been the closest track to my house. I used to go out there. I think one time I went out there every night I could, like 9 nights a year, and I would just love that. I'd go out there with whoever a family member would take me because my grandfather lives 10 minutes, and not even that, maybe like 5 maybe from there. So, and it's really only like a 25-minute drive from my house, where I currently live. So, geez, this is a wrecked field race, ain't it? And yeah. So, well, I think Motordrome will be resurrected, excuse me, but just because of the way it is and the cost it is to pave a racetrack, and the Miley family owns it now, and they just aren't putting any money to it. Not only mention they run Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway as well. So, yeah, I know you out-of-state guys who follow this. Know there are several other tracks in Pennsylvania that I just can't get to right now. I'd like to get to at least 6 races next year once I get a car and a truck or whatever. After in 2017, I get my permit very soon here, and I get my license and soon after that. So I get a truck, I'll be going a lot more races. So maybe tracks such as Sharon, maybe, or other stuff out there, Dog Hollow, a lot of tracks in the books. But as back to Motordrome, it's not going to be, at least I don't see, unless you can get a really high corporate guy with a lot of money who loves racing, who wants to repave it and reopen it. Other than that, I don't see it reopening. Sad to say it, but yes, and I even drove by it a month ago, right before the snow, and it was looking pretty shitty. I mean, it's got weeds growing up all over the hillside where the parking lot is already, and I wish I could have put Motordrome on this channel, but I couldn't, and I wish I can. There's still hope that I can, but that hope looks sleek. But from now on, we can enjoy the racing action from tracks such as Lernerville. Like I said, they had the fire, but I don't think that's too much of a problem for them. They're pretty well stable as far as I know. Like to get to Pittsburgh next year, Jennerstown, I think they're gonna reopen next year. So yeah, it's a real nice. It was a real nice year in 2016. Looking forward to another great year in 2017. So, all right, guys. So that's me. I'm not sure how many laps of racing or to go here in this Rush Late Model race, but that was the races 2016. Good times. More ahead to look forward to in 2017. But remember, if you want to support our local racing or your local racing wherever you live, quite simply support your local racers and tracks. If you pay the admission to get in, more racers will come, and it's just good. Benefit your track, whatever. I know we benefit our tracks around here, but you need to spread the word around to get racing around. So racing is a dying sport, sad to say, but hopefully it's just in a slump and it can reach a new height. So that's races of 2016 recap video. So that's all for now, and I'll just pretty much call what happens the rest of this late model races. John Waters is in front there. He would go on to win the championship. Johnny Molick, I think he won the race. He did win the race. I know that. I don't know if John Waters is a lap down here or not. I forget how this happened. Maybe he's not, because Johnny Molick just slid right up in front of him there and nearly put him in the wall. But so this is actually a good battle we have going on here. Oh, and something happened to Waters. I remember this is like with 2 to go here, so we'll just enjoy this here. I'll probably talk along here, but yeah, so like I said, races of 2017, I like to get the Firecracker 100 next year too. And as well as this race, the Steel City Stampede. Like to get to World of Outlaw Sprint Car Show. Like to get to Pittsburgh. Like to get to Jennerstown a few times. Like to go to Heston again. That's really all my goals are for next racing season. So, Lernerville, hopefully we get out there 4 times. I'm setting goal 3 or 4 times, but Heston, I'm setting a goal at once. Jennerstown twice. Pittsburgh once. So, we'll see if that'll work out. As we watch the end of this laps race, John Mullock out in front. John Waters is in second. And I don't know how many laps are to go. But this is a long race. But so yeah, that was really what 2016 was about. Good year for racing. Hope we can get a better year in 2017 if the weather stays away from us. But I will still have race highlights on the channel. I want to focus my channel around race highlights, but I got to get a better focusing camera and more races that I'm going to. But for now, it's focused on diecast reviews and the display, but I like it to focus on something larger than that. But this is a close second, if not third, to the diecast, because I just can't get to it enough. And it does bring in a lot of views. That and Demolition Derby videos. If you want to know about the Demolition Derby videos, you know what? I actually been to a few demo derbies in my life before this year, and we went to this year's, and I actually decided to put it on YouTube, see like, oh, what the hell, I'll put demo derby on YouTube, and Huntington Fair really took off, and I got like 2.3k videos as of now on it, views, excuse me, but, and there's the race is over, and I guess I'll be seeing you later, so, more demo derbies to come, more races to come. Thank you, like and subscribe, and I will see you later. John Waters takes the win. No, John Waters wins the championship, John Mullock wins the race.